this meeting to order June 16th, 2020 at 7:07 p.m. And I apologize for the tardy beginning. We had an executive session prior to this that went a little longer than was expected. So I'd like to turn this over to the mayor for the flag salute and invocation.
Take a moment again, say your prayers or whatever you're thinking about for the coronavirus people. And it looks like it's attacking 25 more states on the rise. So let's take a moment. Okay. Say the pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States
of America,
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and
justice for all.
All right, Andrew, if you could do the roll call.
Council President Papaleo.
Present.
Councilman Kyle Willis.
Present.
Councilwoman Lee Daly.
Present.
Lee-
Present.
Councilman Nick Waters.
Here.
Councilwoman Melinda Isaac.
Present.
Councilman Jason McGuigan.
Present.
Councilman Robert Ruskowski, he's out. Mayor Bob Fry.
Here.
Alex.
Here.
And I am here.
All right, excellent. Moving on to audience participation. Do we have any correspondence from residents?
We do have one. Hold on a second. I was charging my phone, so I'm taking it off the charger now. And just one comment. This is from Jennifer Ulad. I'm possibly mispronouncing her last name. She's the director of our library, as you may know. She said, "Hello, I am writing regarding the vehicle traffic in Del Mar Village. Over the past few months, I have noticed an increase of vehicles speeding through stop signs where stop signs are posted. The area is a residential area with many young children at play. Many are often riding bicycles or simply playing in their yard. For the safety of the children, please consider looking into what can be done to remedy this issue. Thank you."
I have seen it with my own two eyes. I mean, I know it's happening, and I need to know what we can do about it, because I do think we're reaching a situation where somebody's going to get hurt, and something needs to happen. Anybody else?
Can we have more police presence around the Del Mar Village?
I mean,
try to catch people that are doing that. I mean, because I agree.
Speed bump.
We do see them. I mean, the thing is that people are wise to it, and as soon as they don't see a cop, they're out. They're back at it. So, Chief, is there any way to make cops less visible for these sorts of things? I mean, I hate to say it that way. Can we put them in a driveway? If you see a cop and you know a cop is there, you're going to behave yourself.
Speed bumps.
Are you with me?
I'm with you. Yeah, hold on for a second. I'm trying to get this other thing off. Somebody's trying to call me. Are you there?
I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, so what we can do is I can have the traffic unit guy focus on stop signs at certain times of the day, as well as have the day work guys as well and night work guys looking at being more visible for stop signs. We can do that. Is there any particular stop signs we're talking about?
I mean, not necessarily. So the issue is that when the cops are visible, they don't do it. I mean, I think we only maybe have to catch 3 or 4 of these guys and throw the book at them. And
Taylor and Heather is one of the signs they blow through.
They blow through right here at the corner of Grant and Edwards, on Edwards, Edwards has the stop sign. They just, I mean, and then the one at Fowler and Grant is a joke. And the one at Delview and Grant is a joke. I mean, they just don't care. They don't. It's like I mean, people are not.
Right. So, I mean, that's up to the council how they want to do it. They want to bring extra people in, we can do that. If you want to have the officer that's the traffic guy, which is Acarola, focusing on stop signs in the neighborhood, then it really gets out rather quickly that we're out there enforcing it, and it could slow people down. But, you know, obviously when we're not there, they're going to be doing it, and there's nothing we can really do about that, obviously. But, you know, we can make a difference as far as making car stops for stop sign violations.
Okay.
Well, I think the point we're trying to make is making them invisible so that near it, but invisible. So as soon as the cop sees them, they can follow them. So because I agree with Joe, if they see them, they're going to slow down.
They're gonna
They're going to be like, oh, cops, let me slow down.
I've watched them do it. I've watched people do it. They say, "Oh, there's a cop. I'm gonna mind my P's and Q's." If they don't know there's a cop there and they're caught and they get a fine, I don't know what we're allowed to do. I mean, I think we know that it's not going to be tolerated.
You're asking me to sit there and follow them?
Well, I mean, that's not what I've asked.
No. So I'm trying to figure out. I mean, we can sit on a stop sign and write people that do violate the stop sign violation and switch it up because there is numerous stop signs in town. So we can do that. And we can do it periodically on different days at different times. And then obviously, hopefully everybody gets the hint that we're citing residents for violating the stop sign violation. That's what we can do.
All right. Council in agreement with that? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I don't even know if I need a vote for that. Do I need a vote for that, Alex?
I'm on mute. No, you don't need a vote for that.
I didn't think so. Okay. All right. Andrew, is there any more public participation or audience participation? Andrew.
Whoops, sorry.
Andrew,
I forgot to put it on mute. No, we do not have any more public comments.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the engineer's report.
Thank you. Just a couple things. We have an invoice in for AF Damon for the road program for 2019. It's in the amount of $25,026.75. We're holding 10% to until we have all of the final paperwork. With that, we have a credit change order in the amount of $577.50, which council will actually have to act on as approval for that change order so we can final out that contract. I provided a list of roads last month, and just wanted to advise everybody, and you know, it's up to council, that we have seen an increase in the paving costs already. You know, we had talked about it a little bit last month, of $10 a ton. So it's going to start creeping up. And from what I understand, gasoline's going to go up, which means the petroleum products are going up, which means the paving is going to continue to rise. I also gave you two lists. One was a list of doing the one lane that is not going to be completed as part of the PICO project, or to do all of the Village and Ravenwood, Valley View, Summit, the areas that were completed by PICO, do it in total and then get reimbursement. Based on conversations that I have had with PICO, I don't feel that they will be ready so that we can utilize our liquid fuels and in particular our county aid by the end of the year. That being said, you have a second list, and that second list is generated for other areas of the borough. That list is $152,000 cost estimated. And I don't know whether you want to spend, how much you would want to spend, but I would suggest to you that if you are going to do a road program, now is the time to do it before the prices go up any further.
I would. Our issue is we don't think Pico's going to be ready to help us to repair the roads that they tore up.
Well, they're not finished with their main yet, and once they have the main, then they still have to go back and do all of the services. So I don't know that you want to spend all of the amount that's in the liquid fuels account, because we want to save some of it so that we can complete at least the single lane at some point in time. We could bid it over. If they get finished in October, we could bid it over the winter and do the same as Damon did this year, have the road program ready for first thing spring. So come April, when the plant's open, we'd be able to get that work completed.
Okay. Do you think we should entertain the alternative list?
I think in some way, shape, or form. $152,000 for your municipality is a lot. I mean, it's not your typical road program. Maybe you look at half of that list, and then you have money remaining for next year's pumped up, we'll call it, or bumped up road program, because we'll have all the Pico work to get completed.
Okay.
So the other thing that I have is last week, I was going to say 2 weeks ago, but it was only last week. I was asked about the cost estimate to do the alleys. And as I noted to you, that I had quite a few of the alleys at least measured out. I want to say measured out. I mean measured out in a list that we had done back in early 2000. We supplemented that list, and I came up with a total for all alleys. This is not just the alleys in the village. This is all of the alleys within the borough, and it comes out to $1.85 million. Of that, $1.5 million is just the village area. So it gives you some idea of a budget number. I have $100 a ton for the material. If we were truly budgeting for future, I would probably bump that up to about $130 a ton, because it's going to take a while for you to come up with the funding to do a worthwhile project. I believe that is all I have, unless anyone has crosswalks. One more thing I forgot. Should have looked at my list before I understand that council would like to do crosswalks, in particular at Garfield and Elmwood. And there are several different types of crosswalks. One is just putting 2 white lines. I don't think that's what you want to do, because that is not going to provide enough visual for people to slow down and know that that's an important crossing. The one that I'm suggesting is, we see quite often, it's the wide white stripes. It won't have the 2 white lines running perpendicular to the intersection or to the road, but it will have the white stripes. The stripes are about 2 foot wide, and then it would be, and I believe it's an 8 foot crosswalk. It's either 6 or 8. I should have brought it with me, and I didn't. So I have contractors that do just pavement markings. My suggestion is that we have a contractor do it just this first time, And then after that, you could have your maintenance crew as it starts fading. So usually every year, the municipalities, you'll see them right before school starts. Their maintenance crews are out and they're repainting the crosswalk because you have it almost a template there. So that's my suggestion to you. You can let me know, advise me, whatever you'd like to do, but I can get prices and we can move forward with that. Now that's all I have.
Okay. All right. Very good.
I'm sorry, my phone broke up. That's my apologies. Did you say for the village to get driveways done would only come in at 1.5 million? Was that the number you said?
Yes.
It's actually not bad.
It's not bad.
And what was the total number again? I'm sorry for all.
I think it was 1.8 for everything.
1.85 is what, I'm sorry, I need to turn this up a little bit. 1.85 was the total cost estimate.
Okay.
$100 a ton.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's bad either. I think it's, especially with found revenue, I think we could. Joe or Pisetti, are you on the line?
Yeah, I am, Joe.
Is it your opinion that with permit revenue we'll be able to service a debt that size? I mean, 1.8 is roughly what we expect we probably saved on the building. But in addition to that, we're going to have another revenue stream from the parking permits. What would it cost? So if we took a $1.8 million loan out or $1.85 million loan out, what can we expect that to cost us annually to service that debt?
Depending on the interest rate, I bet you about $1.25, $1.50, depending on how long the duration of the loan is and the interest rate you get. Do you know what kind of figures you're going to get on the parking permits yet?
I mean, we thought anything north. I mean, we expect between $200,000 and $260,000 a year from that.
If you do that, you should have no problem with that. You're not going to have debt service that high in a 20-year loan.
Okay. This is
How
all
about
good news.
You could redo the drive and the debt service. You'd be redoing them more than if you did them every 10 years. That would be a benefit. That's not
Right.
fair.
Right.
Now, I will tell you, there's a couple things. Number one, all of those alleys, you are going to have to get construction easements to do the work because those alleys are owned by individuals. So each property owner would have to sign an easement agreement for the construction only. That's probably your I don't want to say biggest hurdle, but that is something that you need to consider, in particular if you're talking about doing it within the next paving season, next year, 2021. You're probably going to have to start gathering all of the property owners and then put the easements together in order for you to do that, have a contractor start next year. Just some background from the last time we tried to do this is that unfortunately, because the alleys are actually owned by that individual property owner, you don't have the right to be on the property to do that work. The second thing is that in all of these numbers, what we did was we assumed that we are going to mill each one of these driveways and we are going to do the base repair. That's something that I don't believe was being done currently. Currently, people are coming in, they're filling in the holes with wearing course. Wearing course is exactly what it sounds like. Wearing course actually breaks down. It doesn't have a structural strength that a base course or a binder course has. So we need to get a firm base in order for us to have this last. Because the last thing you want to do is do these alleys and 3 or 4 years from now, somebody come back and say, the borough paid for this and now the borough's got to fix it. because it didn't last very long. And what I find is, unfortunately, when paving doesn't last long, it's one of two things. The material was defective or the base was bad.
Okay.
Okay?
And I think if we do this right, we can expect them to last 10 years. Is that maybe more?
We typically will guarantee that they would last 7 years. That's what typical street is. The only thing with the alleys is that we have no idea. I mean, I can tell from there's some of them that have stone, just based on the craters. You can see that there was stone underneath. Some of them, all you see is dirt. So it really depends on how they were built originally, how they were constructed originally. So we may have to do a little bit more work on some of them in order to get them to a point where we can expect, because they're not highly traveled like a road, that we could get the 10 years out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good. Very good. Is that everything, Lisa?
That's all I have.
All right. So everybody take that in. I think next month we're going to probably really be talking about, how we move forward with the permit and that phase of things, because we're going to have to start looking at how to raise the revenue. I think we're going to move forward with this. I do. I think it's a great thing. So I'm going to move on to public finance and administration. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the month of May 5th for our committee meeting, and May 9th's council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of June 2020. I'd like to entertain a motion, rather, to approve the treasurer's report for the month of 2020.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the bill list for the month of June 2020.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Were there anybody, actually, give me a minute before I call that vote. Did anybody have any questions on the bill list? No?
Hey,
All right. So,
guys,
go ahead.
my internet is cutting out. I apologize. I did not get who made the motion or who seconded it.
It was Mindy who made the motion for the bill list, and I think it was Kyle who seconded. And I called the vote and then retracted because I wanted to see if anybody had any questions before they were asked to vote on the bill list. Does anybody have any questions? No? All right, let me call the question again. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody
Aye.
opposed? All right. Anybody opposed to
I'm
accepting
losing
the bill
everybody.
list for the month of June? No opposed. Motion carries. I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of a Folcroft Day for 2 days this summer, where I'd like the borough to purchase admission for borough residents to the swim club for 2 days this summer. So ideally what we would like to do is purchase 100 spots at $8 a person for 2 days. I've talked to some folks down at the pool. It's mutually beneficial to both our residents and to the swim club. It probably will drum up some membership this year, and it also affords all of our residents, whoever there is there first, to swim for the day and see what it's about, and to just cool off on a hot day. I think we have 2 dates that I agreed. That I asked them. I asked the board of director about. Lee, do you recall what 2 days they gave me?
I believe June 23rd or June 30th and July 23rd.
June 30th and July 23rd?
I think that's what Amy told me that you guys had talked about.
I think so too, but let me see here. I'm looking at my text messages. Forgive me. I thought I put this information in.
While Joey's looking for his dates, even though I think I'm right, I just want to let everybody know I'm going to abstain from a vote on this because I am a board of director at the swim club, but I am going to put a little bit out there, letting you guys know the pool is in having a rough year with the COVID-19. Our membership is down. We would like to get more community residents in there. If the pool closes, we don't pay taxes. If the pool stays open, we can pay our taxes. I know we're behind a year. We're working on it. So I'm just being persuasive, but I'm not going to vote. I'm going to abstain. If the borough can help us, then we can make sure we continue to pay our taxes and not become a vacant lot of dangerous property. Just so I'm putting that out there. I am abstaining from the vote, but just so everybody knows where I stand, where the pool stands. I would love to have every single one of you come down as a member. I would love to have the whole community come down, and I'm excited to see how you guys vote. So I'm just letting you know.
All right, so we said, so let me just reiterate this. So I'm motioning to establish a Folcroft Day twice this summer. So there'll be 2 Folcroft Days this summer, whereby the borough will purchase 100 spots for borough residents who have to produce proof of residency to swim at the Folcroft Swim Club for a day. So it'll be roughly $800 for each day. I would also like to leave it open-ended. If 120 people show up, I don't necessarily think we should turn them away. We should offer the pool the opportunity to bill us for up to 150. Is that okay? So we'll pay the 100 up front. You could bill for an extra 50. Let's talk about it. What does anybody, can I get some feedback on that?
I think it's a great idea. Something for the kids to do in Folcroft and all that. I think it's a great idea to have those two.
I think so too. Casey, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if we could make sure we put some money in there for sunblock for me. I burn easily.
All right. I'll bring some.
And Kyle.
I can bring my.
Me and Kyle can walk there. We it's our hood.
Yeah.
But that is a good idea, and Lee, good luck with bringing it back. I love to see that pool be successful. It's been successful for years, and it's literally my backyard. So I'm looking forward to
we're
it.
definitely, the pool is, the board of directors are definitely working on it. I'm a board of director in charge of swim team. That's not happening this year. So I am the COVID-19 board of director this year. So, but we are getting a lot of interest from the community. So this would definitely help us have people come down, check it out, fall in love like most people do, and hopefully keep us up and running for 25 more years,
Well, It's cool that I think it's cool too that Folcroft is taking a bigger role in there. I think for a couple of years it wasn't that, and now it seems like Folcroft folks have taken over, which is always best. They got the neighborhood in mind.
The board of directors is 98% Folcroft residents.
Good.
So, and there's a push to make the membership 99% Folcroft also. So it is coming back to Folcroft.
Good. All right. So I would so let me go ahead and entertain the motion. Would anybody like to make that motion?
I'll make it. I'll make the motion.
Seconded.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? That's great news. So there will be 2 scheduled Folcroft days this summer. We've got June 30th and July 23rd. Is that correct?
I'm like 99% sure that's what Amy told me you talked about.
Okay. Please note Councilwoman Daly's abstention from this vote, and it has been approved. So we'll allow the swim club to bill for additionally 50 swimmers who come that day. So they'll get the 100 up front for the day, and then they could, if they get 50 more people that show up, they could additionally bill us for that if they can produce proof that they entered. Andrew, do you have all this?
Yep.
All right, Joe, is that Joe Pacenti? Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
All right, so are we in? I would assume we're in a financial position to be able to. It's going to cost $1,600.
Yeah, because it's in the recreation fund. We haven't used a lot of that money because of COVID, so that's in there. We're fine.
Yeah, we got plenty of Easter money left over.
Exactly. We're good.
All right, good. That's good news. All right. So that's all I've got. I'd like to move on to public work. Well, Councilman Willis, sorry.
No new business at this time.
I'll take over public safety in the absence of Councilman Wojciechowski. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the police chief's report for the month of May 2020.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the fire marshal's report for the month of May 2020.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? No dissenting vote. The motion carries. I'd like to motion to approve the fire chief's report for the month of May 2020. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the fire chief's report for May of 2020.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Any opposed? No dissenting vote. The motion carries unanimously. I'd like to pass this over to Public Health and Literacy, Councilwoman Isaac.
No report at this time.
Moving on to Municipal Planning and Zoning, Councilman Waters.
Before I motion, I'd like to discuss the significance of the holiday, which some of you may know as Juneteenth. The history of slavery in the United States is not the history of any one race. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
My phone's a mess.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on, bear with me, please. And that way, Juneteenth is a fundamental, I can't say it. It's fundamentally the most authentic American holiday. All nations have Independence Day of sorts. All nations celebrate holidays like Thanksgiving. All nations celebrate religious holidays. Juneteenth, and its meaning is unique in our history and culture. Just for 1 second, let me just let you know about the tradition, it's the institution of slavery for those who aren't fully aware. Juneteenth is a holiday celebrated by African Americans in the Southwest, according to the arrival of federal troops and the liberation of the slave in Galveston, Texas, June 19th, 1965. I'm sorry, my phone's mess is cracked. I can't really say it.
That's all right.
The international slave trade created the largest forced mass migration in the history of humanity. More than 12 million human beings were transported over to America. At least 1.25 million people were killed. That's huge. They're actually being sold, at least sometimes more than once. It's crazy. But the liberation of the slaves cost lives of hundreds and thousands, white, black Americans, untimely talking. Ultimately taking the lives of 3% of the citizens in 1865. Basically, what I want to say to you guys is, it's a lot to be, said and read on this. As a Folcroft's first Black council member, I'm honored, to be making and designating June 19th, 2020, as Juneteenth, Independence Day, in recognition of the slavery that was going on June 19th of 1865.
All right, so we have the motion to recognize Juneteenth. Has everybody been mailed the resolution?
Everyone's stunned.
Everybody's.
You're that's like birds.
Do I have actually, Alex, am I allowed to second as the council president?
Are you allowed to second it?
Yes.
No, actually.
We have to recognize Juneteenth and to adopt the resolution here. And do we have a second?
Second.
I'll
Second.
Oh, yeah, all of us will.
All right, very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? That's historic, and I
Hey,
share.
Joe.
Go ahead.
Joe, I'm sorry. I thought I was talking. I was on mute. Can we do a roll call vote for this? It's an important vote.
I agree. Andrew, go ahead and call the roll call.
It's cutting me out for some reason. Councilwoman Daley.
I vote yes.
Council President Papaleo.
Yes.
Councilman Waters.
Yes.
Councilman Willis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Isaac.
Yes.
Councilman McGuigan.
Yes.
All right, that's unanimous. Let the record show 6 yeses, 1 absent.
They're recognizing Juneteenth. Will the borough be closed Friday, Juneteenth?
My suggestion was in private, we do have a food giveaway for Friday, which we're just getting together now from the county. But I think we could let employees be off if you'd like to recognize it as such. I'll still be in the borough, but I would like to, and I think council members should attend if possible. The Juneteenth celebration at Rose Tree Park in Media. It'll be at the Veterans Memorial from noon to 5 p.m. this Friday, June 19th.
What time did you say? 5 p.m.?
Noon to 5 p.m.
Noon to 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm off. So if anybody's attending, let me know and I will join them.
All right, I will. I'm going to shuffle my weekend around so that I can be there. So I will certainly be present. That's great. That's historic. Councilman McGuigan, thank you for requesting a vote. I do think that's a historic vote. I commend Councilman Waters.
Absolutely.
I know it's difficult.
I fumbled through it. Yeah, my phone's a mess.
That's okay.
I'm better in person.
I think you have one more item, Councilman Waters, on your under your.
Didn't get them too bad, did I?
Councilman Waters, do you have the in front of you?
I'm sorry, Sandy, you were breaking in. You were in and out.
Do you have the agenda in front of you? I think you have one more item under your agenda under municipal planning and zoning. We're breaking up here. Hello?
Are you still there, Joe?
I'm here. It sounds like we have some connectivity issues. I can't see your camera doesn't look like it's working, but I think I have audio. Can you hear me? Hello?
Joe, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you're coming in and out. I got you. Thanks for internet. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay.
Hello?
Anybody there?
I'm here. I don't know what the problem is, but I think this is going to have to be the last Zoom meeting. I'm done with this.
Thank God. Thank God.
I'm done with it.
So, my last agenda.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take over from. Can you hear me? Okay, Nick.
You're going in and out. I can hear you, but you're fading in and out. You're like broken.
Can any other council members hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
I heard you the whole time, Joe.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to take over where Nick left off. So I'd like to entertain a motion to engage with the contractor to install a crosswalk at the intersection of Elmwood Avenue and Garfield Avenue for the approximate amount of between $750 and $1,000. Can we entertain that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody
Aye.
opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Moving on to Parks and Recreation, Councilwoman Daly.
We are all set with 4th of July. I'm sure all of you saw the flyer that went out. Still waiting. I have to touch base with True Love, I guess, and see if they're planning on doing a movie. But other than that, we're good to go. I need to get with Andrew and Joe Pacenti, find out budget finances so that I can get the prizes and all that stuff lined up. The other thing is the committee, we're going to have another meeting. I have to touch base with my technical team, Kyle, and have another meeting. But Jenna brought to me, instead of doing the summer arts and craft program this summer, we want to look at doing something very similar, but having the crafts bagged up, ready to go, able to be picked up at either the borough or the library, and have a YouTube video that like one of us each week can do, Jenna, us, you guys, pick a book to read to the kids and have a craft that kind of goes along with it, to help with social distancing, but also to keep fun in the summer. Jenna is super excited about it. I'm super excited for her. I'm going to let her take the lead on it. I've reached out to Jen at the library. She's super excited about it. So I think that's going to be a good way to socially distance and get these kids still getting creative and having a good time, getting books read to them. And so we're going to meet about that probably in the next week or so. And we're still going to be working on cleanup day for the community. That's on the agenda for our next committee meeting. I've had a couple people reach out interested in committee, so that's exciting. Andrew, I reached out to, my phone's dead, so I don't remember her name. The woman that you emailed about, the resident you spoke to. I want to say Cherie, but I don't remember.
Yeah, Cherie.
Yeah. And she's interested in being a part of the team, so that'll be exciting. So it looks like we're doing good. Things are happening. Council needs to start thinking about what community day can and will look like if we decide that we should do it. I would still suggest late September for a date for that because of the temperatures. But we do definitely need to think about what that's going to look like. There's a lot of vendors that pay into that, that maybe have had some issues, lost income this year. And what does it look like if we have to socially distance? So things to start thinking about for the next meeting for sure. But that's all I have for now.
All right, very good, Councilwoman Daly. I appreciate all you're doing to try and to reinvent recreation in this new weird time we're living in. It's commendable what you guys came up with. I think that's a great idea for the arts and crafts program.
All Jenna, she's amazing. I'm so excited to have her on the committee. She's doing fantastic.
Right. Thank you, Jenna, if you're watching. Kyle, tell your wife I said thank you. Council thanks her. All right, so moving on to municipal legislation with Councilman McGuigan.
I have nothing on this.
All right, the new construction committee, Councilman McGuigan.
I have plenty on that. So we met with FX Construction this week, and they are going to do a breakdown, which was requested by the engineer. They had a contract, which I sent over to the solicitor. Alex gave us some notes back. Alex, I don't think there's any issue with any of that stuff, so they'll make those corrections. And if those corrections are made, I think you're comfortable with the borough signing that document?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So what we're looking at is they're talking June 22nd to be ready, prep the area where the building will be built. They'll spend a week getting their equipment over there, and they'll actually start construction on June 29th. They're going to clear the area. Their
June
recommendation
29th, as in this month?
That's correct.
That's great news.
Yeah. So they're really moving. The only thing is, the first round of funding for them is about $250,000. And we discussed it at the meeting, and we're like, we really don't want to put that money outside of the loan. And that's where Joe Pacini kind of weighed in and said, any other year it would be fine to do, Mr. President, but this year we're just concerned with the fact of losing the earned income tax, so we're waiting for the full loan to come in. Usually in a project like this, you can float the first $250 out of the general, pay the general back when the when the loan comes in, but we're a little uncomfortable doing that. So that's the only thing that I foresee delaying the construction.
Okay. Joe, where are we at on the loan?
Bank has everything. They just asked for the budget for the project, so it's moving pretty quickly.
So we should probably have the loan locked up by the end of the week then, right? I mean, is it?
I don't know about the end of the week because they're looking through they may need some more information from us, but it came in lower than we thought, and they got the RCAP letter of intent. So I'm hoping I talked to them yesterday, and I'll try to get a date from them when they're gonna have it locked up.
All right, and then how soon do we have the money once that's approved? Is that?
I think it's set up like a construction loan where they submit invoices, and then the bank directly pays the contractors.
I like it. All right, that works.
So then, Mr. President, what they were talking about is they'd like to spend the month of July clearing the area, and then once it's clear, having a nice groundbreaking ceremony at that time. The thing is, when they're first starting, there's some older stuff there. There's some weeds, overgrown. It doesn't look as nice. Two,
Right.
I think it gives Andrew some more time to call all the local representatives and set something up that could be nice. And three, with COVID, we wanted to have that little blanket of extra time to make sure we can have a nice gathering.
Okay. All right, very good. Anything else?
And that's all I have.
That's great
all
news.
I have for that.
That's
Get
great
the
news.
shovels ready.
Right. Yeah, are we gonna? I guess we're gonna have to get some real shovels, right? Some real that we can hang in a shadow box in the new building. So, all right. So I guess we'll move on to the police chief's report.
Yeah, so as far as for us, we're getting out of the COVID right now, so we're getting back to normal. We're back on the regular schedule. I am going to have all the officers know about the stop signs, and also have Officer Accarola, who's our officer that's on the street as far as with tickets and all that stuff is with traffic. He'll be notified about that as well. Just a highlight, I guess, we had a drug arrest on Delmar Drive last week. Our anti-crime hit a house there and got about 2 pounds of weed out of there. And then we just had the person who's the problem for us on Bennington Road, he just got arrested by us for a DUI. But with that, after doing a search warrant, today they found 86.9 grams of cocaine, which amounted to be 175 bags in the car. So that was a good bust as well.
Okay, very good. Is that all you got, Chief?
Yeah, that's all I have right now.
All right, good work. Thank you. Solicitor's report?
Nothing significant to report, Mr. President. With the courthouses being still closed under emergency order in Delaware County through July, means essentially, nothing outside of major criminal actions is really being entertained, which means it trickles down to district court level. So any appeals to any ordinance violations or code enforcement violations that were in the works for the borough are just stalled out. It also means that recording of documents at the Recorder of Deeds is just pretty much non-existent right now. So your construction development agreements, your stormwater management, things like those are still also being delayed, which is of course why you're seeing a trickle in construction as well. So business should pick up as soon as the courts seem to open up at the end of next month. But for now, very quiet.
Okay. Excellent. Finance Director's report. Thank you, Alex, by the way. Finance Director's report.
Yeah, I did. Just a quick thing. I did a little analysis of where we were last year at this time, and we're actually a little bit ahead with the earned income tax as of this date today, by about $20,000-$30,000. But I'm concerned, talking to the attorney for the Keystone Collections, we're going to start feeling this probably not in July. We're going to start feeling it in the end of August, early September, when the third quarter collections start. That's where I think the lag is going to be. So just keep doing what you're doing, monitoring expenses. We're down expense-wise. By the police budget, they've spent less than they did last year, even with the hazard pay. So we're doing a nice job. The council and the department heads are doing a nice job. We just got to stay on top of it, because I don't know what it's hard to, nobody can really predict what kind of lag there's going to be come September. We just need to be prepared for it. Our real estate taxes are all being collected. They're fine. We're down to transfer taxes. Not nobody's moving property, so that's down from last year. And then, of course, we got to get caught up in their inspection work and stuff once we get allowed to get back into these houses. But there'll be a lag, and we'll have a lot going on with the building going on and stuff. But I just want to just keep everybody aware of that each month. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Joe Pacenti. I appreciate that. It's a mixed bag of good and bad news, but I think we're going to get through it okay. Borough Manager's report.
Hey guys, not a ton to report from last Tuesday. Things are still functioning in the office as normal. The bulk trash dumpster is super full. Was supposed to be cleaned out the night before. Yesterday, late afternoon, and wasn't. Then was supposed to be this morning. Unfortunately, there's been a delay. It's still full. So if you happen to encounter a resident who right now, right this moment, would like to put something in there, please ask them to delay if possible. It is super full. They came up and did a partial pickup of some of the overflow, but it's still filled to the brim. That's about it.
All right, very good. I did use my bulk trash this week myself for the desk in my living room that needed to go.
He put an entire Toyota Corolla 1998 in there.
All right. Anything under old business?
I have something under old business. I just wanted to check in with, I guess it would be under Paceni and Catania and Andrew. We have a lot of projects that are outstanding. One of which is, again, that storage facility over on Chester Pike. And I know there was some, they had to go back to the drawing board on some plans and stuff like this. But as we're going through this meeting and talking about, needing money for the end of the year and a possible shortfall with earned income tax, these are, there's several hundreds of thousands of dollars that we're hoping we get in this year. Are we going to make those goals and actually get that money in this year? The biggest one it would help is a pension obligation at the end of the year. That's the, what was that, $300,000? These projects could cover that, and we'd be in great shape everywhere else.
Lisa, are you still on the line?
I'm here.
What can you tell us about, I guess, those projects that are still in progress?
I'm not exactly sure which projects we're referring to. The Safe Store project is in FEMA's hands at the moment. It's with DEP. We haven't seen any plans as of recently. The flood study was completed and it was reviewed. There's outstanding review items that unless we push them to get something in, I don't know how to push FEMA. They're very aware of it. We met with the developer, the developer's engineer, the developer's construction manager, and their project manager. So as far as where things stand with that project, it's in the third party hands before we can finalize that approval. I do not believe at this point they have PennDOT approval.
Lisa, is that for the storage unit, the facility that's doing the storage unit?
Safe Store. Is that the one you're referring to?
Is that, yeah.
One on
I don't-
Chester Pike?
Storage units on Chester Pike.
Yes.
Okay, no, because they
were building in the
complained.
floodplain. They had to do a flood study. It went to FEMA. The FEMA can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. I don't know where it is at this point, but it's probably about 2 months in. I do not believe at this point that they have PennDOT permit for their driveway. The application went in for the sanitary sewer connections to DEP, and that's about all I can tell you.
Okay, they
And-
didn't have to resubmit anything. We're waiting. So we're waiting on the storage company, is what you're saying.
We're waiting on that team, we'll call it, between their engineer, the construction managers, and all the third parties.
Because they're a pretty eager group when we met with them, Mr. President. I don't know. I mean, it's really, I don't know if it's appropriate for me to do anymore, but I'd have no problem reaching out to them because I know when they sat with us, they really wanted to get this thing going. So if they're dragging their feet, then that's amazing. I think they need a kick in the butt then.
Well, I don't know that it's actually, I think their eagerness to get in is the same, unless this COVID has changed things. But when we met with them concerning the flood study, which was maybe 2 months ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, was right when COVID started, because we actually did a Zoom meeting. I know that the developer was very excited and very eager to get in. I don't think that they had all of the appropriate documentation. As a matter of fact, what I was told was that they had their design team in-house take a look at our review letter, take a look at their stormwater or their FEMA and stormwater calculations. So they did a flood study to determine, because they're in a floodplain, whether it would have an impact on the water levels. And then they did the stormwater calculations, and they found that all of our comments were appropriate. So at this point, the Bowler Engineering was coming back with additional information, and I haven't seen anything. So I do know that the FEMA went in though, because every once in a while we get an email back from, or we're included in an email concerning they're in the process of a technical review, or they're in the process of a completeness review.
Did you say we're
But
still
George,
waiting on?
With the next thing the borough could do, it sounds like there really isn't at this point.
I really don't think so. What I can do is contact them and see where everything stands, if they could give us a status report. I can do that if you want, or you can do that as well.
All right, let's get a status report. Are you saying we're waiting on FEMA then? Really? Is that what I'm getting from this?
Right. So the back of the site is actually floodplain, and they have they're planning on putting a driveway in the rear, and their building, because it is so close to the floodplain, has to have a certification. So they've done all the calculations, they've done what they need to do, and it is submitted to FEMA at this point.
Okay. All right. I guess let's get a status check on them and see where they're at. I hope they're still as eager as ever. I mean, I'd like to get them in there, and of course, not at the risk of it being a dangerous thing. I mean, I want to do it right, but
And then the only other one that we have in our, well, there's two in our sites, but the only other one that's a new development that is in our sites is Formcraft. And at this point, last week, I spoke to Dave Damon, because we were, I was just checking to see where things stood. I was talking to him about another project in Darby Township that he had done, and asked about it. He said he wasn't sure whether that developer was planning on still doing the project. So he was going to check with his client and get back to me.
Okay. All right. So
Hold on, Joe. Mark, a couple things on that.
Hey,
that
Joe.
part. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I came over to Joe's house. Lisa, the Formcraft one, they dropped plans off, and the gentleman for Formcraft, the owner, he's been asking where you guys are at with, I guess, the agreement, the construction agreement, because the plans are
construction. The plans are not approved at this point. We have a cost estimate. We don't have a develop.
Just give me a minute to finish. No, I'm saying the construction plans, the construction, the building plans, or the review's done. We're done. The review's done, approved. I know you were still working on a couple things with the site plans. I know you and David Damon had to respond to a couple of things regarding the site plans. And I don't know if he settled them with you or not.
No, that's what we were talking about last week.
Okay.
The other part of this is that I need a municipal improvement cost estimate so that at some point Alex can do the subdivision land development agreements, the developers agreement, municipal security agreement. So we don't have any of that at this point either. So Dave was going to check with his. I think Dave needs to talk to his client because there hasn't been any communication between Dave and his client. Then.
Okay.
That's what you're telling me.
All right, because the last time I spoke to him, he was still full go. I mean, we're in the midst of the COVID, but he was still full go with his project because they're only putting the addition onto the building.
That's right.
All right, and then we have a box of plans just got dropped off from Bowler. Did they copy? They had you guys copied on it regarding the safe store. Did you get a copy of them? They dropped off like 13 plans. I haven't even looked through it yet.
Not that I'm aware of. If that's and I sat with Alex today, so I don't know that Alex got it either.
Okay, because I'm sorry. Yeah, because it had Alex's name copied on it. If not, I can drop off hard copies to your office if you want a copy of the plan. They dropped off like 13 of them.
Yeah, I only need one.
And by Alex, we're talking about Alex Baumler, correct?
No, we're talking about Alex Rodriguez, who's one of my engineers.
Okay. We're talking about the gentleman in Lisa's office. Yeah. So Safe Store, I think they dropped it off a box a while ago, but then they dropped off like 4 more boxes with a ton of plans and stormwater reviews and stuff. I didn't even look through. I just glanced at it and I saw that you were copied on it. Alex was copied on it, so
I'll check with Alex in the morning.
Yeah, if you don't mind, can you just email me and let me know if you have a copy? If not, we'll get copies out to you of everything in there. That's all I had. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So that was old business, correct? Is that everything, Jason? Do you have anything more to add?
No, the only other thing that the last one that we have is just the basin over at Dollar General, and we haven't heard anything about that as of recently. I know that went back to DEP because they made a design change to that rain garden. Ed McGarvey from the Conservation District required that it went through the DEP process up in Conshohocken, or Norristown, excuse me. They're not Conshohocken anymore.
Okay. All right. Can we talk sometime this week, Lisa? I guess you and I guess we'll I'm not sure I understand all the backstory with the rain garden bit. Are we in trouble there, or is everything okay, or are they supposed to be doing some remediation there?
There's the basin that's behind the building that it is adjacent to the school parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
We found that it is not percolating the way, so it's not operating the way it should be operating.
Okay.
Bowler Engineering came back in. We asked them to do soil testing. They did the soil testing. They did some other investigation work and found that it isn't percolating. So they've done an alternate design. Because they are under an NPDES permit, they are required to go back and with the Delaware County Conservation District to get an approval of that revision. When they met with Ed McGargy, Alex Rodriguez was there. And when they met with Ed McGargy, Ed required that they went back to DEP for a review. So that was, again, that was in March, and I haven't heard anything since. So we would get, as a municipality, we would get a notification. We would be CC'd on that NPDES permit.
Lisa, we still have money held up from them, right?
We do, yes.
All right. Okay. All right. So that's everything then, correct?
All I have.
All right. Very good, Lisa. Thank you. All right. So moving on to new business. How does everybody feel about these Zoom meetings? I got to be honest with you. I'm over it. I'm done. I hate them. I would like to get back into front of one another at a respectable social distance in a way that is cognizant of the threat and careful. But I don't love this. And I'm willing to entertain socially distanced in-person meetings in maybe the gymnasium at the Borough Hall or something like that. Can I get some feedback from council members on that?
I think meeting in person.
For all to have meetings at my house if you guys want.
All right. So,
no, but all kidding aside, Joe, I hear what you're saying. It's very difficult to do business when we're talking over each other because we're on the phone and we don't get to see eye to eye. I agree. I'd love to get back to doing them in person.
do we have anybody? All right. So who agrees with that? I'm on board with that. So that's two. I feel like Melinda.
I agree. I agree.
I agree.
So that's four of us. That's four of us and the mayor. Anybody else? Can we have an argument for the dissenting opinion on that matter? Anyone? All right. So then I'd like to make this the last Zoom meeting, if that's okay with everyone.
Hear, hear.
Yes.
All right. So this is it. This is the last Zoom meeting. I'd like to have our next meeting in the gymnasium at the Borough Hall with a long table with 6 feet between us. If we can get an audio system, great. If not, we'll just have to holler. But I can't do this anymore. So it just doesn't work for me. Working from home is different, but when you have 7 different personalities plus a mayor plus a borough engineer, a borough finance director, I can't. It doesn't work the same for me with so many vying personalities on a meeting. I find it complicating and I don't like it. So I think this is it. This is the end of our Zoom meetings. Andrew, we'll deal with that for the next meeting. We'll be meeting in person.
Sure.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Everybody have anything else to offer under new business?
Yeah, just 2 things quickly, Joe. I know everybody wants to wrap up. First, thanks to Stevie G. He did a nice job on this. Second, as miserable as these Zoom meetings are, it's not because Stevie didn't do a good job. So thanks.
I agree. I agree. Stevie, I didn't want you to take it that way. Forgive me.
I don't think you said it that way. I'm just putting it out there. But the second thing I had is, Andrew, you might want to look and post this after tomorrow night. The county is going to approve several $1 million of loans that they're going to give out to small businesses that make less than $9 million a year, and they can qualify for up to $20,000 in assistance, and they'll give out up to 500 of those loans. I mean, it's a great program. I just heard about it today. I know they're going to vote on it tomorrow night, and if it passes, I know there's probably a lot of small businesses in Folcroft. They may not even qualify for the full $20,000 because they're a lot smaller than $9 million annually. But you know, places like maybe Ray's Auto or Folcroft Pizza, or this could be something that, you know, gets them over that hump that they dealt with for COVID. So if I hear something at work or whatever happens tomorrow night, Andrew, I'll send you a link or something, but it might be something we want to advertise locally.
I think that's a great idea.
So I have heard about this a bit about this too. I looked into the possibility of sending writing letters of support from council for small businesses. It doesn't sound like that's going to mean anything, quite honestly. They would accept. I will say this: that the county will accept those letters if we send them. They may ultimately mean nothing, but if we make the attempt for our small businesses, I think that could be worth it. I'd be glad to draft a letter for you once the stuff gets finalized.
Listen, the chairman of county council married a Folcroft girl, so those letters will mean something.
He did tell me that. I forgot about that. He did tell me that.
That's true. His wife grew up on Shawcross.
I said I wasn't even crazy enough to do that.
I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here, but as I was told, essentially we don't do things like that anymore, but you're free to send it anyway. So
there you go.
All right.
So we'll
okay.
see.
All right. Very good. So definitely let's get moving on that for our business community. I think that's great. All right. So I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Hold on. I have one more little tiny bit of new business.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. Andrew had an experience that he asked me to share. He has been taking his son down fishing down at the what we would consider the dock at Montgomery Park, and had some kids get in the water and swim, even though he told them they were not allowed to, and had to have the police come down and chase some kids out of there. There's been a lot of drownings in that water, as most of us who've lived here long enough know. So Andrew is asking.
It's dangerously tidal. Yeah.
It's terrible. And I mean, as we were kids, we were told we would drown and there's already dead bodies in there. So we never went in there. Right, Jeff?
I remember. Yeah. I think we told ghost stories. I never did. I never went in there.
I never did either. I was scared of my mother and dead bodies. I was 100% not doing that. But Andrew made a good point. Maybe we post a sign down there. A lot of people, I went down there to meet up with Andrew the one day, and there are quite a lot of people who are using that area. And it would be probably a good idea for us to post a sign that says absolutely no swimming. If council would be willing to get behind that, I think it's probably better than not to have one. So
I agree. I agree. Do we need a vote for that, Alex, or can we just go ahead and do it just because it's compliant with our insurance or whatever it is? I don't know. I don't know how we would.
I'll entertain a vote. I mean, it's not necessary, but do it.
Okay. All right. Lee, are you proposing is that a motion?
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to post a sign for no swimming down at the Montgomery Park fishing pier area.
I'll second it.
Let's post multiple. We'll put multiple signs along, make sure that if they say they didn't see one, there will be others. Is that okay? Hello?
I'm sorry.
Joe, you there?
I'm here.
Go ahead, Jason.
No, this is Billy.
Sorry, Billy.
All right. So if they are swimming, is there any other kind of consequence, or are you just going to use us to tell them to get out? But I don't know if there's anything that we have that laws that
we can cite
from going in.
Alex?
I mean, is it technically borough property or is it not?
Well, I think the creek bank is, but the creek itself probably belongs to the creek authority, right? I mean,
Right. So if they're swimming in the creek, then essentially there's not an action for trespass that you could arrest them for or cite them for. So, I mean, you have your warning signs to protect you from liability. Obviously, if anybody gets hurt or falls in or, just ignores the warning altogether. But as far as an arrestable action, I don't see one in that situation.
All right.
I mean, I'm not saying that we won't do anything. We will go down there and we'll basically try to enforce that there's no swimming. I just want to get to that point where if someone does defy us to the point, we're really going to be stuck with our hands tied. So, but we will go down there like we have been with when Andrew was down there and tell them they have to get out, and I'll make sure that they go down there regularly to check as well.
Let me ask you a dumb question. The creek is tidal. So when it goes out, it frequently drops several feet in depth. I don't know if you guys have seen how low it gets. They're swimming in an area that is sometimes a mud flat. I don't know if that changes the rule, or does it matter? It's just if water is there, it's the creek. If water's not there, it's our property.
Yeah, I mean, it's water itself. So, I mean, basically anywhere a natural water course would carry, right, would still continue that stream. So you don't have an ownership right over it, which means you can't enforce a trespass action.
Here's my thing, Alex. We just made a motion to spend $1,600 to promote the pool. I don't like competition.
Put up a fence there.
Just so you know, I got a quote on these for like less than $200. You should be able to put multiple signs that say no swimming, like the no parking signs, no swimming signs.
Okay, very good.
There's two main areas they would need to go. One is the fishing hole. One is sort of behind the clubhouse.
Okay.
One last little thing, and I don't know if this is the place or whatever, but I'm just going to throw this out there.
Wait, before we proceed, hang on a minute. Lee, you made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
All those in favor of placing no swimming signs and very visibly down by the watering hole there or by the creek, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I just had a quick question. I had a quick question about that. How come there's never been signs down there before? Hearing you guys your story, I didn't grow up in Folcroft, so I don't know. I'm just curious on that one.
I don't know, but I will answer that in a question in a second. Anybody opposed to this? Motion carries unanimously. I don't know the answer to that question. It's a good question, and I don't know. We just, I guess, through folklore or through whatever it is that we were told, we're like me and Lee said, we just were advised at a very early age that it was a bad idea and it could get us dead. So we just didn't swim down there. It's just something we didn't do.
Also that there are already dead bodies in there. That was enough. We're not doing that.
Right.
I was just there 2 days ago.
Yeah. There's probably more dead critters in there than there are actual bodies. But real quick before we adjourn, and this is just Chief Bear, and probably Mayor, I was wondering if we could, on extra hot days, if we could do one extra loop through the Folcroft parking, through the parking lot at the pool, so that we don't have any issues like what we had last summer. The pool actually asked me to request that. Maybe on extra hot nights, the cops take an extra ride on through. I know they do it pretty often in the summer. Shine some lights down there, make sure we don't have anybody breaking in again. We want to avoid
Absolutely, that's not a problem. Yep,
Perfect.
absolutely.
I would just say on the days, when you would break into a pool because you're hot, we would maybe
I got you.
Zip through to prevent any other injuries or anything. So that's all
Not a problem.
I have.
We'll make that one of our business checks.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep. No problem.
All right. Very productive. Lee, please congratulate the pool board and tell them we're excited to partner with them.
I will, and I already have I messaged them and they wanted to thank council. They're really excited to have your support, and they're looking forward to a great relationship.
Excellent. That's great. All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Or actually, before I do that, is there any new business for anyone else? Nope. Going once, twice. Entertaining a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Motion carries. This meeting's adjourned. Everybody have a lovely night.
All right. Have a great night, guys.
All right.
All right,
Hope to see you Friday at
Come
Rose
on.
Tree Park.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you real quick. I'm putting out a statement for on social media about Juneteenth.
Perfect. That's good.
All right.
Say it again so Andrew can hear you.
All right.
I want to go fishing.